Erev Shabbat Shalom. We're in the Shabbat that is positioned precisely in the week between Yom HaShoah, the Holocaust Memorial Day, which we marked this past Wednesday night and Thursday, and Yom HaZikaron and Yom HaAtzmaut, Israelis' Independence Days, memorial of the fallen soldiers and Independence Days, which will mark this coming Tuesday night, Wednesday and Thursday. And oftentimes, the proximity of these dates in the calendar and the historical proximity that the Shoah, the Holocaust, thankfully ended in 1945, and just 3 years later, in 1948, the State of Israel was founded, often links these two events. And I think first and foremost, it's important for us to understand that the Holocaust is not a result. The State of Israel is not a result of the Shoah. The State of Israel comes into force by the presence, by the reality of the constant yearning of the Jewish people to return to its homeland, Shivat Zion, from the first diaspora, from the Babylonians who destroyed the first temple to the Romans who destroyed the second temple and exiled their people in year 70. There was a constant presence of Jews in the land of Israel, and Jews always wanted to return. And ultimately, through a variety of factors and God's grace, we're blessed, and the hard work and sacrifice of so many. We're blessed to live back here in Israel as an independent Jewish state for these past 73 years. And the image that comes to me is the image that our sages chose to be read on the Shabbat of Passover. It comes from the book of Ezekiel, chapter 37, in which Ezekiel, who's a prophet who witnesses the destruction of the temple, goes out to the first diaspora in Babylon, and there he tries to give hope to the Jewish people, and he has this amazing vision in chapter 37, the vision of the dry bones, where he's taken to a great valley, and the valley is filled with human bones, with human skeletons. And God turns to him and says, Ezekiel, Hatechyena atzamot ha'ele. Will these bones come back to life? And Ezekiel, perhaps cryptically, and perhaps with the only possible right answer, says, God, only you know. Only you know if these bones will come back to life. And God says, prophesy over these bones. And lo and behold, the bones form into skeletons. The skeletons form sinews, and flesh grows and skin grows, and they come back to life and they stand on their feet. And then in verse 11 says, these dry bones are the house of Israel. They say they're dry bones, that their hope is lost. Advat tikvatenu. But God says, I tell you, they will yet return to their land, la'atzam, to their land of Israel. And that's the prophecy. Fast forward 700 years. The second temple is built, the second temple is destroyed. The Jews are facing oppression of a cruel Roman Empire. And a series of sages are composing the Mishnah. And in the tractate Sanhedrin on page 92b, there's a discussion. Was the prophecy of Ezekiel a metaphor or was it true? And Rabbi Yehuda says it was a true metaphor, which is kind of trying to have your cake and eat it true, but basically saying it was a metaphor. And to that, Rabbi Elazar, the son of Rabbi Yossi Aglili, Rabbi Yossi here from the Galilee, stands up and says, no, it was true. They came back to life and they came back to the land of Israel and they married and they had families. And not only that, Rabbi Yehuda ben Betera, another sage, says, I, in fact, am a descendant of those dry bones that came back to life and came to Israel. And here I have in my hand the tefillin, the Jewish ritual that's bound the Jewish people to life for so many generations, that my great-grandfather, who was one of those who came back to life, and I have it with me. We too are blessed in our generations to see people walking out of concentration camps, who were literally like the living dead, like dry bones coming back to life, and with a lot of effort, a lot of courage, a lot of faith, and a lot of grace, grew up in a community of Holocaust survivors in which people chose life. Not everyone, not always. It was difficult. There were tremendous, tremendous challenges and hardships. But overall, those who are here because they chose life. And the same here in the land of Israel. There are times of challenge and difficulty, and very often we're drawn to focus on those challenges. I bless us to look at the blessings, to look at the miracles that we are privileged, not through merit, but through grace. We're privileged to witness, and that of the dry bones coming back to life, of the Jewish people returning to its land. May we always have a sense of awe and appreciation to the great miracles and blessings which we witness daily in our land. May it be a meaningful Yom Zikaron and an uplifting Yom Ha'atzmaut. Shabbat Shalom, Besorot Tovot, good tidings to us all for all our challenges. Shalom.